Okay, good evening, everyone. Can I get your attention, please? I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. Let the record reflect that we're starting on time at 7:30 p.m. Maxine, have a roll call, please.
Trustee Abraham. Here. Trustee Benson. Present. Trustee Harwood. Here. President Jones.
Here.
Trustee McGreer.
Here.
Trustee Norris.
Here.
And Trustee Brown Ovino. Here. May we all stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Item number 2, public comment.
Denise Hunter.
Yes, I'd like to, this is addressed to you, Mayor. I'd like to know how are the voters voting for the Broadview First Party when the judge removes you and your team from the ballot?
Is that the only question you have?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Evelyn Reed. Evelyn Reed. Excuse me.
I had a question for Trustee Brown Moreno. At the last meeting that you had in Park District, we were talking about economic development, and I think you were saying that one of the other board members was the chair of economic development, but you're the chairperson of streets and sanitation, streets and water, right?
Actually, it's water, drainage, and health is the title of the committee.
Water, drainage, and health?
Yes.
Okay, and the water, drainage, and health is also responsible for streets?
Technically, no, that would be Trustee McGreer.
Trustee Chair?
Right.
Okay. But I just want to ask too, if you would also look into those points that you mentioned before regarding like the SDST and the Cook County Land Bank. And we had discussed that as far as some of the future economic development proposals that those programs have been in existence for some time.
Well, let me say this, and I'm surprised he's letting me talk this long. Generally, President Jones won't allow us to
We shouldn't be
answer
answering it.
questions.
It's a public comment.
And that was a political meeting, so I'm happy to talk with you after the meeting, but, you know, about any questions you have.
Your board position as being chairman of the board, that's how I was addressing it, bringing
Right.
it in this forum.
Right.
Thank you. For everyone in the room, please address your comments to the chair of the board, and we're going to move on because if it gets into a debate and a banter back and forth, we'll be here all night. Ms. Joyce Lewis.
Good evening. As a result of the court case that came about in Cook County Circuit Court, you and Trustee McGreer are found to have outstanding debts with the village. Have those been reconciled and settled, and if not, when? Question 1. And Trustee Benson was found not to be a resident of Broadview. So is there a date when Trustee Benson plans to resign from the board as not being a resident?
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Gary Purvis.
Gary Purvis of Harvester area. I'm going to do my best now. I've actually advocate one campaign over another. This is about the election area. To quote James Madison in Federalist Papers 51, if men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls, government would be necessary. This speaks about morality. If there was more morality in how we live our own life, we would need less laws and less regulations. We are all flawed, whether you're religious or not, agnostic, atheist. We cannot be perfect. In this coming up campaign, I hope to elect somebody who's better than me. One thing that I learned, one of my first jobs in high school, was handing out flyers for heating and air conditioning. And on the first day, I found out it is illegal to put flyers in the mailbox because it's not postage paid. Now, the campaigns that are doing that, maybe their workers don't know any better, but they're adults. I learned that when I was 16. But also, if you are going to smear somebody with past transgressions, fines, you better be clean yourself or shut up. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Joreen Gordon.
Hi, I have just two comments. One, and both regarding the last meeting. It was dismaying to learn the excess of legal costs that are continuing to be incurred by the people who are running for other offices. And two, thank you for not responding to these people who are asking questions regarding the campaign. Electioneering that took place at the last meeting was totally inappropriate and unwelcome. This is a business meeting. We're supposed to be focused on things, and you certainly do a good job of that. And I would hope that the next time some of the people who are running for other offices, other than the ones that they currently hold, would bear that in mind, that it is not the place to do their campaigning, electioneering, or discussion of what their goals are going to be, because it is not the place to do that. I want this to be stuck on business and business of the village. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gordon. Madam Clerk, that concludes all our public comments for today.
Item number 3, consideration to approve the following minutes. They are none. They will be presented at the next board meeting. Item number 4, consideration to approve expenditures, grand total all funds, $214,785.32.
Motion to approve.
Okay, it's been probably motioned by Trustee Morris and probably second by Trustee Abraham to approve these expenditures on the warrant list. Finance, you want to give us a report on the larger expenditures?
Yes, sir. The Bank of New York Mellon Trust, that's $50,000. Broadview Fire Pension, $48,629.67. Broadview Police Pension, $10,104.35. Broadview Public Library, $2,680.42. ComEd, $3,875.22. Edmar Press, $3,714.13. Geno's Plumbing, $40,915. H&H Electric, $4,886.91. Kelly Truck Center, $6,600. Locust, $5,472. And Richard F. Blass and Associates, $7,029.50, which is a grand total of $183,907.20, which is 86% of the total bill of $214,785.33.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Morris. Questions or comments or corrections from members of the board, starting with Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes, there's a couple. First of all, when it comes to the invoices from Bush Lawn Service and Z's, I believe it's called, or, I'm sorry, Czar's Landscaping for the senior snow removal. The last time we got the invoices, there was no breakdown at all. It was just strictly a sum dollar amount. This time, what we have are names. There's a couple of names that concern me on here, specifically what's her name? Harrell. Now, we had been shoveling the snow for the Harrell household on 17th in last year. I don't know if this is the same Harrell. We also have Harrell living in the village-owned home, but I'm concerned that we're still providing the service for people that are not seniors and not disabled. We also have a couple of entries with no names at all. So I would like to be able to get the information about exactly what homes we're providing the service for, because altogether we're spending several $1,000s on this. And I know in the past we've also done Public Works Director Ames' home. So I would like a breakdown on exactly which homes we're providing the service for. I also have a question about the, what's been called business card. It's the credit card that is in control of Donna Barber. There's a previous balance here, and we haven't seen an invoice for this credit card for a while. The credit cards that we've got labeled business card over the last couple of meetings was the one that the police department has. But this one shows a previous balance of over $1,000. And with this payment, we're still not paying that previous balance. So I'd like to, I would very much, I know you're not going to answer anything about the senior snow removal now, but I would very much like to know what the previous balance is and why we're not paying it, because we're accumulating interest and late charges. The late charges are $39 a month. This month, the interest was $13.75. But we're continuing, or finance charge, I should say. So we're continuing to accumulate additional fees for this.
Okay, those are the only two questions or comments?
No. From commercial tire, we had a couple of charges for commercial tire, and all of the other invoices show what vehicles these were for. We had a charge from February 27th, where they came out to fix a flat tire, and that vehicle is identified, but on the same day, they also sold us a tire, and there's no vehicle identification on that. So I would like to know what vehicle we purchased a tire for on February 27th before we pay that bill. We also have invoices from Edmark Press. I'm speaking specifically about the invoice for $2,391.13. This was all for the postcards, the postage, and yard signs for the political rally that was held on January 31st. Now, I'm calling it a political rally because although we did start out talking about the water and sewer, it certainly turned into that, and that seemed to be premeditated. But also because I was prohibited from recording the meeting, and if it wasn't a political rally, then we're looking at Open Meetings Act violations. So you've got to decide which it is. Was it were there open meetings violations, and it was really a political rally, in which case there's no charges for that? Or do these charges, the $2,391, belong to the political people? Because if that's the case, then the village should not be paying for this. And finally, when it comes to the invoice for Richard Glass and Associates for $7,029.50, this was for representation for the village clerk in the lawsuit filed by President Jones, Trustee Benson, Trustee McGreer, and the other members of their party. My understanding, I wasn't here for that meeting, but my understanding is that the village board revoked the indemnification for the clerk. So if we've revoked the indemnification, why would the village be paying for her legal fees? My understanding is that we should not be paying for the legal fees under those circumstances. So I'm asking that definitely for an answer on what vehicle this tire was for, what the past due fee is, that we pull the bill for Richard Glass and for Edmark Press.
Does that include your comments and corrections?
But President Jones, these are more than comments. These are questions.
A lot of it
and
was
questions
comments,
that.
But that's not for debate. Are you finished? Is what I'm trying to find out. Was that the?
I have told you all of my questions. I would like answers to the questions.
We'll get to that. We're going to move on to the next trustee. Trustee Morris, do you have questions, comments, or corrections on the?
No.
Trustee Morris. Trustee McGreer.
No.
Trustee Harvey.
No.
Trustee Benson.
No.
Trustee Avery.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Getting back to the Bush bill, I guess there was a question on some people's names. There was a name Brown. I just want to see who that particular person is. I hope it's not a trustee. The other one I have a question on was the Glads Richard Blatz and Associates. I believe everybody was here that particular night when they went into discussion. It was an executive session
I was not
regarding
here.
that process. So I'm just assuming that this is his bill, because I know, wasn't you, didn't she say she didn't want it or something? There was some confusion with the clerk. This is the gentleman, right, that we came out and made a motion on, correct?
Right.
We had a motion on it, everybody was here. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody was here, recalls this, we made a motion for this attorney. Okay.
Correct.
I just want to make sure.
And if I could just
Yeah, that's it.
clarify, if I could just
Hold on,
clarify.
point of order, Trustee Marino. Trustee Abraham, carry on.
That was it.
Okay.
That was it on those.
All right.
And
Having,
may I clarify?
you already did. You had every opportunity. You spoke first.
You know, according to Robert's Rules of Order, once everyone has had an opportunity to speak, then the board members are allowed to speak again.
Have I spoken?
No. Please go.
Okay. Let me address some of the comments that were just made. Let's start with the invoices. The invoices from Bush and Czar's Landscaping as relates to name. You've got some senior citizens out there that are unable to walk. Some of them are bedridden in some cases. They live alone. They're either widows or widowers. And for their safety and security, because they live alone, we don't need their information for you and people to know that they're there, because they're already nervous and afraid. So we don't give out all of that information on everything. We do keep all of this information on file within the village Public Works Department, and the individuals that actually do the snow removal know exactly who they're doing the snow removal for. Each and every one of these locations has been vetted by either the Public Works Committee Chair, the Public Works Director, or myself, to make sure that they qualify for the service. That being said, I have not required them to give us that type of a detail, because we know the addresses and we know the names up front, but we're not asking for that type of detail because of their own personal safety. Police can't be everywhere, and we've got some issues out there right now. But that's the issue as it relates to that. As it relates to the Harrell, I don't know how many people in Broadview are named Harrell, and I do not know every name on the list, so to speak, so I can't speak specifically about that one, but I can find out. The issue about the business card, in your comment, you actually mentioned that we had not had a bill for this card for some months, and all of a sudden we got a bill for this card, and it talks about, you know, interest and late fees, this, that, and the other, well, and a previous balance. Well, if we hadn't gotten the bills or these things over several months, that would probably be actually what happened. As it relates to the commercial tire issue, I don't know which department had it, because I didn't look at that particular invoice and scrutinize it like that. And for a tire being purchased, that's just a common part of doing business when you're dealing with vehicles. We've got a large fleet of vehicles. A vehicle may have been purchased by any one of these department heads. I'm sure that the purchase was authorized by someone on the invoice, and that it did not exceed their spending authority to have a flat tire fixed in a tire purchase. And I'm sure they can be explained. And I do believe that if you looked at these bills prior to the meeting, you wouldn't have had to come out here. You could have went directly to the department and asked that department head what had happened. The Edmark invoice, as it relates to the print for that Thursday night meeting, was billed to the village for quite simply because it was a committee meeting for street sidewalks and alleys. It was a committee meeting to talk about our infrastructure, water rates, and some other things. What else happened in that meeting has absolutely nothing to do with what the premise of the meeting was all about and what we were there for initially. And that was to explain to everyone what the village was challenged with as it relates to our infrastructure, what the costs were, what it was going to impact on your water rates, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why the village got billed for that. The village engineers presented, and the village finance department gave a presentation in that meeting, and it was hosted by your committee chair, Kevin McGreer, and we talked about water rates and things of that nature. And that's where I'm at with this. What I need right now is a motion on the floor as it relates to these particular bills right now.
Yeah, motion and a second already.
All right, so having said that,
President
everybody,
Jones?
excuse me?
Now that you have spoken, I would like to address this again.
Carry on.
First of all, the fact that the village board, that the trustees were not given were not presented with any bills for the credit card doesn't answer where this previous balance came from, and it doesn't indicate that the village didn't receive any statements. I would still like to know what this previous balance is for and why we haven't paid it, if there was a problem with the charge, what the charge was, etc. You still haven't answered any of that. When it comes to that I could have spoken with department heads, as you very well know, I mean, I would have taken this question to our finance director, Jan Baptiste, but she's not allowed to speak with me. I did ask her questions. She responded that she cannot answer them without your permission. So now, let me ask you this. Does she have, she's sitting here, does she have your permission to answer these questions for me outside of the meeting?
You can talk to Ms. Baptist after the meeting about that particular situation, Ms. Brown-Marino. But what we have in front of us right now are invoices and bills that have been billed to the Village of Broadview. Services have been rendered, or financial considerations have been given, and we need to address it, and they need to be paid.
I understand and I agree with you.
Unless you have a position that we did not receive a tire, or that we did not get a service and you want to challenge the bill, that's different.
My
But if
concern
we-
is
if-
I would like to know what vehicle we purchased a tire for.
And I'm sure you can get that information.
Was trustee Morris not available?
Hold on.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
She's on a hunt for a tire.
Yes, I'm on a hunt to
Okay,
find...
but at any rate, whichever vehicle it was purchased for, I'm sure we can get that information for you.
Okay, so you're saying that I do have
I'm saying
permission
that you
to
can
speak
get that
with...
information. We'll get you
And
that
I do have
information.
permission to speak
You've got
with...
permission to get the information. We'll put it in your box.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, I'll discuss it with her.
However, Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hargrid?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
After all of that. After all of that.
And the motion carries unanimously to pay the bills.
Item number 5, report of the village officer, Commissioner David Upshaw.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Monthly report to the building department for February 2013 is as follows. There were 30 permits issued. There were 28 Title 13 inspections done. And I always talk about that is the sale and purchase of any property in the village of Broadview as it relates to residential, commercial, or industrial. One of the things I wanted to just comment on too, is I'm seeing a slight increase in the housing values in Broadview.
Excuse me, can you speak up, please?
Sure. As I stated, is that we're seeing a slight increase in the housing values in Broadview. Recently, we've had homes, there's 3 specifically that sold for $125, $175, and the other one for $250. So that's in the last 30 to 45 days. So something to be aware of. What we're seeing is that some of the homeowners are actually selling their homes. Some of the investors who have bought homes in Broadview pretty much flip after they've done renovations to the properties. We have 25 contractor registrations, 1 vacant property registration. We have 31 business licenses. Of the 341 businesses we have in the village of Broadview, 92% of the business licenses, as well as their renewal fees have been collected, and we're working on the other percentage. We have 10 complaints. Those complaints deal with garbage, animal registration, working without permits, and contractor registrations. And for this fiscal year, May 2012
February 2013, $422,000 has been collected by the building department. And the last thing I'd like to talk about, which just based on the first 25 minutes of this meeting, is the upcoming election. I will be brief, and this is for everyone that is a candidate. Obviously, the campaign season is here. We have quite a few people running. I just want to cover this to make sure everybody is aware of it. And as I go through this, you'll have to understand. Political signs are allowed without permits. Signs will be placed on private property and set back from the public right of way. There's no limit to the number of signs. In terms of size and height, the sign shall not exceed 6 square feet in surface area in a residential area. The sign shall not exceed 4 feet in height from grade. In the non-residential districts, the sign shall not exceed 9 square feet in surface area. The sign shall not exceed 6 feet in height from the grade. As I stated, we have several candidates running for various positions in the village of Broadview. Recently, we've been receiving, we as the building department for the village of Broadview, we've been receiving complaints regarding signs being placed on public property as well as private property unauthorized. That being said, going forward, effective tomorrow, which is March 19th, the building department will be collecting all signs, and we will hold those signs for 2 days, and each candidate, or whoever the candidate is, they can come and pick those signs up at the building department. If they are not collected within 2 days, they will be discarded. So I encourage all of you who are running for positions in the village of Broadview to contact the building department as soon as possible with your contact information. That concludes my report.
Just specifically identify what signs it is that you're collecting. I think you left a blanket statement out there that you're going to be collecting all signs. So you need to let anybody that's putting signs up out there know exactly what signs they are that you are going to be collecting.
Any signs that, well, there's 3 signs that we've collected already. There were, I want to say, not have to go in the office to look for what district it is, but there's a school district signs we've collected. Those who are running for mayor, those who are running for trustee, we've collected those signs. We've had residents call down to the building department and state that they have not authorized any signs to be placed in their yard. And those are the 2x3 signs that you see, vote for whoever, I'm running for trustee, I'm running for mayor, I'm running for clerk, I'm running for school board, whatever. So I just want everyone to be aware that it's starting to be an issue, and I don't have, as everyone knows, we don't have a big building department, and so I really don't need to focus on that. I need to focus on bringing businesses in Broadview, making sure that the contractors, those that are doing business in the village of Broadview are properly registered, and we can get through our inspections. That's what the building department really needs to focus on. So I would appreciate those of you who are running any assistance and that you are aware as to what's going on. If you have any questions or where you can get signed or you can't, in terms of public parkways, feel free to call the village of Broadview. If you're going to put a sign in someone's yard, if you're going to put a sign in someone's business, it needs to be authorized by the business owner or the homeowner, or the person who's living in that home, because that's where the calls are coming from.
Thank you, Mr. O'Shea. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Brown Marino first.
No.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Hartley?
Since we're talking about political signs, will we contact the building department if we see something that we think is out of order, such as a sign placed at a home that no one resides in, or a home that's
Absolutely.
foreclosed or something?
Absolutely. If the home, because there are some homes that are vacant, there are some homes that are foreclosed, we have a list of those. There are a couple homes that have fire damages that are in the process of being repaired, and people have been putting signs there. I don't know who is doing what, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I am addressing the candidates, because those are the people that I'm going to hold responsible. You have whoever you have work for you, but I'm holding the candidates responsible. I was just out the day before I came to this meeting, and I saw that some of the signs have been removed and placed properly, and some of them have been removed because they weren't authorized. So I will be contacting the business owners, and I will be speaking to the homeowners, whoever lives in those properties, once I get those complaints and see if in fact they authorize those signs to be placed. So again, vacant property for proposed property, unless you're authorized by the individual or the investor or the bank who owns the property, then there should be no signs on those properties.
Trustee Benson? No. Trustee Abraham?
No.
Thank you, Mr. O'Shea. Madam Clerk?
Our next committee report, Finance Director Jan Baptist, Finance Department.
Good evening, Ms. Jones, Board Trustees, and community residents. Financial report for February, financial activity for February 2013, the general fund. In the month of, and I'm so sorry, I just looked down and saw that I have January, it should be February 2013. The general fund reported $1,057,000 in revenues and $962,000 in expenses. So for the month of February, we had a net surplus of $95,000, and on a year-to-date basis, our general fund is running a net surplus of $446,000.
Whoa. Can you repeat that, please?
What?
Can you repeat that, please? I just want to hear it again. That sounded good.
What happened? I know I have.
You did great.
You just want to repeat it.
I just need to hear it one more time.
Like, am I getting dyslexic? Okay, on a year-to-date basis, the general fund is running a net surplus of $446,000.
Thank you.
In February, the revenue sources included $542,000 in property taxes, $168,000 in sales taxes, $131,000 in utility taxes, $50,000 in state income taxes, and $11,000 in state use taxes. On a local basis, the building department collected $19,000 in business license permit and inspection activity fees. The police department generated $45,000 in fines and towing activity, and the fire department generated $53,000 in ambulance and hospital billing fees. In February, the village also received $26,000 representing the fourth quarter reimbursement from the COPS grant that's administered within the police department. And we received $12,000 reimbursement from various legal fees, the workers' comp, and other miscellaneous fees. When you look at our expenses, labor continues and always is our primary spender. It represents 77% of our spending for the month. The next most significant area is our contractual services, which included in the month of February, we had $106,000 in legal and professional service invoices, $42,000 in our monthly general liability insurance expenses, $14,000 in various repair and maintenance expenses, and $6,000 in towing. Looking on a year-to-date basis, we're 10 months into the fiscal year, so actually closer to the fiscal year end. And with that being said, both revenues and expenses are slightly under the 10-year annualized trend. However, they're pretty close actually. On a year-to-date basis, it was primarily with the revenues being 81%, the primary dragger is property taxes, which right now are at 59% of budget. That represents, we've received basically 97% of all of the 2011. And with the early, or what I'll call on-time billing, on the second installment or property taxes, they are slowly coming in. In February, we had received 11%, and through last Friday, we had gotten another 600,000 in, so people are paying property taxes. And by the year end, we'll be closer to the budgeted amount that we actually have set, because we actually have that baked into our budgeted amount. Both our other taxes and, meaning the sales, utility, and use taxes, and our intergovernmental ones are right in line with budget. And then on a local basis, the charges for services and the licenses are running way ahead of budget, far exceeding it. Hope they keep that up. And then the other thing that's really helping us that will fall for the year is the one-time events within other financing and miscellaneous, which those who aren't here every month probably know about. But in December, we did receive back $495,000 from of our paid sales taxes. Every month you all hear the bills, and there's always a bill that says $50,000 to New York Bank Mellon. That's the village sending its monthly pledge of sales taxes to cover the debt as it relates to the village square tip. However, because property taxes were sufficient, it's the incremental portion. We did receive that $94,000 back. We also received $100,000 cash flow from the highway sign deal, and we received $79,000 this year for 2 different legal settlements. So that's sort of what's happening. On an expenditure basis, what am I looking at? Basically, on an expenditure basis, everything is running close to or below budget, with the exception of commodities, which are right at budget. And that's primarily due to just unplanned motor equipment supplies and increased gas and oil expenses. And the other area is debt services, which is also at 100%, but we paid all those expenses, so there won't be any additional expenses. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. 2 things on the agenda for just to remind the board and maybe and just the importance of it. The first is consideration of our audit engagement for the fiscal year ending 2013 for 1 year to extend renew our relationship with our current auditors, Berkshire Crowley, Baker, Berkshire Krause, Baker Tillich. Get that right? At least for that 1 year. The fiscal year is over April 30th, so basically in a month and a half, and upon your execution, if you do this, the auditors do want to get in. They typically come in when they have multiple come in March or April. They can start the preliminaries and start giving me multiple things to do. So if you all could act on that. And also on tonight's meeting is the renewal for our medical insurance expense with Blue Cross Blue Shield. As you all know, we do have an insurance committee that consists of representation from the 4 unions, a non-union administrator. We did meet, we had a very productive meeting actually, it is the unanimous recommendation that we renew with Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, it's slightly, it's 11% increase. That's actually lower than trend and lower than what we're expecting. And even with this 11% increase, it's still 24% less than what we were paying to a different vendor before the insurance committee got in and actually started doing the work. So I just wanted to sort of plug that and hope that you all act on it. So I go home. Any other questions or comments? I'm sorry.
We're going to start down there. Okay, thank you. Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes, when I'm allowed to speak with Ms. Baptiste later, I'd also like to address my questions about the garbage fund. I know that's not, that you don't report on the other funds here, but you are giving us a report now. And I had asked questions about it before, but was told she couldn't talk to me. So can we include that in your permission for my discussion?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes, Ms. Baptist, I have 2 questions. The additional amounts on the commodities, the gasoline and oil expenses, could a portion of that be attributed to some of the problems we have with the gas tank over in the fire department yard?
For what, a month we were buying gas from...
At a lot higher rate.
I didn't say what it was, I just said it was higher expensive.
I just wanted to know, was a portion of that, so it's a good thing we got that taken care
Yeah,
of.
it was a month while we were getting our...
It took about a month that we were in the vendor buying our fuel instead of
Yeah, so that could be a contributing factor. I did not drive it down to what's actually, I'm just identifying the areas that were higher.
Okay, and one last thing, I want to thank you and your committee for putting them to the task to renegotiate. I know they had a much larger increase at one time, and they renegotiated down to the 11%, so even still, that's a good price. Thank you.
Trustee Harder?
No.
Trustee Benson?
They said exactly what I wanted to say. Definitely want to thank you for that committee.
I'll pass that on to them.
Yes.
You know, I do follow up. As soon as y'all tell me, I send them emails.
Right.
Any of them here?
Yeah, you got a couple of them.
Very good job with
I got glasses on.
representing Blue Cross. And getting us a good rate.
They getting us a good rate? Okay.
It's working out, yeah. The committee format does work.
It really does. We're doing a great job.
Trustee Avery?
No, none.
I don't have anything that's bad to find out. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Our next committee report is Chief Thomas Government, Fire Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Village Board.
Good evening.
Evening.
This is the monthly report for February 2013 for the fire department. Over the past month, we responded to 169 emergency calls. Of those calls, we responded to 3 working fires and 1 fire investigator's box alarm. For our contract services to the Loyola Hines and Madden complexes, we did respond to 3 fire calls at Loyola, 17 ambulance calls, for a total of 39 calls for the year. Loyola Fitness Center, which is a separate entity on the complex over there, we did respond to 4 ambulance calls there for a total of 5 for the year. 8 ambulance responses to the Hines VA complex for a total of 17 for the year. And 1 fire call and 3 ambulance calls to JJ Madden for a total of 6 for the year. Fire Inspector Carson's performed 116 fire inspections throughout the village, 8 of those being home inspections. 50 violations were cited and 5 special inspections were performed. Training this past month, we completed 159 hours on fire and EMS related subjects. We trained with the Division 20 technical rescue team. That's a team that some of our members are also on within the division that do rescue training for structure collapse, confined space, trench rescue, those type of things. We did training here at our firehouse. The paramedics continue with their monthly EMS training. All personnel, we participated in a large evacuation drill at Loyola Hospital where they needed to evacuate the hospital complex, the main building over there. We would be tasked to do that. So we went over and did training for 3 days at the site. I attended various meetings throughout the division and throughout the region for the fire department. We did begin our union negotiations with the firefighters union. We expect that to go pretty well from the way the initial meetings went. It seemed like everything went very smoothly. We anticipate getting that done very quickly, actually. Billing information, we collected $14,230 from our collection, our paramedic billing service for ambulance services, with a net collection of $14,260. We billed out $15,000 to Loyola Hospital, $8,470 to Hines, and $2,250 to JJ Madden for a total of $25,720 for the month. We received, this says December, that should be for February. We received $32,466 in collections for services to those 3 complexes. On another note, I would like to remind people we are continuing our CPR program. We have monthly CPR training at the firehouse, which is free to all residents. Next one will be April 6th, which is Saturday at 9 a.m. Everyone's welcome to attend. On a better note, I'm proud to say that I did receive notification last week that the fire department is receiving the grant for a new fire engine, which we requested. $280,000 from the federal government. So I was just notified by Senator Durbin's office. So I'd like to thank Mayor Jones and the village board, especially Mayor Jones, for your work with the political side with Senator Durbin's office and our work with FEMA. So this grant is, we do have to put forward some money towards the engine. It'll pay 2/3 of what a new fire truck costs, so it'll be a big relief for the village not to have to come up with another $100,000. So it's much needed. Our newest fire engine right now is 20 years old. Our backup fire engine is 30 years old, so this will replace the 30-year-old fire engine that we're currently using. So it was welcome news, so I'm very happy to report that. So we should be seeing, hopefully, the new vehicle will take about 10 months for them to build it and get it delivered. So you'll see that here in the near future, so very good news. I'd also like to present the board with my annual report for this year, or the past year, I'm sorry. Just touch on a few highlights out of there. Pretty large report that we put out, like reading material there for you. But there's a lot of good things in there. A lot of good things happened over 2012. One of them, luckily, I was sworn in as the new fire chief. It was good.
That on page 1?
That's on page 1. But, no, seriously, we did over 2,400 calls, emergency calls. 1,460 of them were EMS and rescue-related calls. 937 of those calls were reported to fire, or were actually working fires of some type. We did have 3 paramedics receive awards from Loyola Hospital for life-saving for a call that they had where they brought a person who was deceased, they brought him back to life. So they did receive an award for that.
Good job.
We did receive, you probably heard Chief DeGuerre and myself talk about the LISO program. We did receive quite a bit of equipment over the past year. Two of the items were defibrillators that we received through LISO for the ambulance, which are used to save the village $75,000 just for those 2 pieces of equipment. We continued our public education and our community service programs. We really actually increased the amount of hours we're spending doing that now. We're doing a lot more with Roosevelt and Lindau schools, leading indicators, different programs we're doing there. CPR, we increased the amount of CPR courses that we're hosting. We did train over 200, we ran over 16 classes and did certify over 200 people last year in CPR. We did collect nearly $350,000 in fees for our ambulance and our contracts at the 3 complexes, Loyola, Main, and Hines over the past year. We did start a physical fitness program, mandatory for all the firefighters and officers of the department, which we're seeing great effects with that. You guys just went through their annual physicals a week or so ago, and the doctor did comment to me that most of the guys, the majority of the guys are in much better shape just by looking at the blood work and those type of things. He said, definitely can see the program is definitely paying off. We increased our firefighter training hours, the amount of hours that we train each month. We've increased our grant writing efforts, as you can see. So, like I said, luckily we're getting the FEMA grant that we requested. And we did hold our first annual award ceremony recognizing the firefighters and police officers for the work that they do throughout the year. And again, as Jan just stated, we've done all this and still remain under budget. So, hopefully the annual report gives you guys some good information. It talks about all the divisions within the department, from maintenance all the way down to training to maintenance, all of that. That concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Questions or comments from the board, starting with Trustee Marino?
None.
Trustee Morris?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Great job, Chief. Thank you.
Trustee Harvey?
Thank you for this. And I also received your report for the month of March. I don't know who the department chair is.
Oh, sorry, take a look at it.
And also, I did have a resident that walked up to me in Target a
couple of days ago, and I guess one of the firefighters responded to an emergency call, and she was like ecstatic, the guys came out and met their mom.
Oh.
And, she just said, could you please relay the message to the fire department that they exceptionally peaceful. And I told her to fill out a separate card, so that you would know it personally, but I didn't want to give her name or any information, but
Beautiful.
pretty
It's
sure.
good to hear.
Kudos all the time,
I'll
but I
make
was
sure I can pass
surprised.
it on to the guys.
Yeah, I was surprised she spotted me. Yeah, they were happy, so I appreciate you guys responding the way that you do, keeping it professional.
Thank you. Thank you, Trustee. Trustee Johnson? Thank you. Trustee Abraham?
Yeah, definitely, I want to congratulate you on everything that you've done, your attitude towards being the chief and your effort in making things, moving this fire department forward and upgrades, and working with Chief together, working with us here on the board, definitely top notch, and we should be proud of these guys.
Oh, I'm kind of irritated with you right now. You stole my thunder about the winds, but that's okay. That's okay. Good job. Good job. Yeah, right. Madam Clerk?
President Jones, can we have a motion to have the annual report on time?
I make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Harvard and second by Trustee Abraham. All in favor to put the annual report for the fire department on file?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that report goes on file. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Our next, village officer is Chief Louis Tadera, Police Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Board, residents.
Good evening.
The monthly report for the police department for February. The police department, we were involved in maintaining order and peace during the integration rally in front of the Ag Detention Center. A group of approximately 100 people participated in the rally. The rally was without incident. There will be a public safety town hall meeting on Thursday, March 28th, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Schroeder Park. That's a town hall meeting for the fire department. For fire and police, it's not a committee meeting, so the Open Meetings Act will not apply.
When is that?
Copy of the 2012 Broadview Police annual report will be sent to the library as well as the email on the website. We are also preparing and will be disseminating soon various brochures for our residents, but most importantly our businesses. And basically, this one here is commercial armed robbery. Are you prepared? That's going to give you tips. We have approximately 4 or 5 of these of different incidents that we're going to start disseminating to our seniors, to our residents, and to our business. That's part of our community outreach program. The crime in February was 22, compared to January was 28. Crime went down. Arrest, it went up from 4 to 9. Our fines, as indicated by the Director of Finance, was 45,000 compared to 23,000 last month. And our calls also went up. We responded to 1,821 calls versus, we responded to 1,598 calls versus 1,821 in January. We had 12 arrests for other law enforcement agencies. Those are warrant arrests. 1 sex offender and 1 violent offender were registered as being Broadview residents. That's on the state police website for sex offenders. So 7 individuals were fingerprinted for volunteer or employment reasons. In our arrests, our Protective Bureau had a solvability rate of 16.7. They cleared up 3 cases out of 18. In addition, 13 prior cold cases were cleared. I also want to provide to the board a copy of the 2012 annual report. for the police department. It was a great year.
Thank you, Chief.
When it comes to working more with less, we do that. And I'm very proud of the men and women of the police department. But I also wanted to say thank you to the mayor for his supportive direction, and to the board for their supportive direction. In 2011, we hired 1 officer. In 2012, we hired 3 officers. In 2013, we'll be hiring 1 officer. That's a total of 5 officers in less than a year and a half. So we're going to be up to 28 officers, hopefully within a couple weeks, we'll have 28 officers. So I thank you for that. Just real quick, Mr. Mayor, I figured it's the fire department talking about their stuff. The police department brought in, and we're not our job is to serve and protect. At the same time, when we make arrests, we're going to tow vehicles, we're going to give out tickets, so there's fines that are coming back to the village. So for 2012, we brought back to the village $336,658.96. So that's kudos to the men and women that work in the police department day in and day out. Just in the change of our collection agency, they brought in $34,000 compared to, I believe it was $6,000 or $7,000 the year before. So thank you to the board for making that happen. Violent crime went down 27%. However, property crime went up 26%. And I'm going to put my arms around that, specifically burglaries. We are now putting together I call it my burglary deployment blitz for the summer. And we're going to be identifying who, what, when, and where. Now that we have a year under our belt, it's going to be better for us to analyze, come up with some trends, and I'm going to deploy, and it's going to be blitzing. That's going to be my priority this summer, is to reduce that portion of the property crime and burglary. Now, arrest rates increased 54%. Drug arrests also increased 35%. Seized and recovered weapons amounted to an increase of 23%. So as you can see, even though our burglary went up, our violent crime went down, and our arrests just went up. So kudos again to the men and women of the police department. We started a new initiative called Directed Patrol. Directed Patrol is, we're used to, when a police officer gets in her vehicle, they just go into routine patrol. They just go patrol. Directed Patrol is, I tell you where to go. You go here, I direct you to go here, I direct you to go here. That's Directed Patrol based on analysis. And I've been talking about analysis for the last year and a half, but that's what we're going to do. Intelligence-led police stuff. That's where we're at today. Because of those Directed Patrols, we have these positive results. And we had 2,400 directed patrols. They consisted of Beach Street, the alleys, B3, DL checks, Hannah's, the mall, narcotics, stop signs, surveillance, trucks, seatbelts, speed. So all that turned out to 2,400. So thank you for those guys for doing that. Again, our detectives overall in the 2012, the clearance rate was 54%, which is very good. In 2011, we either recovered, we found, or we seized 6 guns. In 2012, 20. So it went up, and it continues to go. We've recovered so far in the last 3 months, I believe, 5 to 6 weapons. So it's going to be a hot summer. I think our guys are focused on the guns, drugs, and gangs. And again, I applaud them for their bosses for bringing those directed patrols. Our truck enforcement. We had when I got here, one of the initiatives that I talked to the mayor and to the board about was bringing in a part-time officer. That became an issue with the union, continues to be an issue with the union. But my part-time officer brought in $65,000 in fines and back to the village from the court. So far, we received $31,000 back. So far, so good. However, that part-time officer quit without a part-time truck officer, but I do have a sergeant who is doing it while he is the boss on the street. He's also pulling trucks over. So far, I believe he's brought in $4,500 today. So he's doing a good job at it. And so in 2012, we brought up new initiatives. We brought up NIXL, so whoever has NIXL is aware of NIXL. That's information that you get, like a robocall on your phone. Crime mapping, so you go on crimemapping.com, it gives you real-time information on crime in Broadview. The Police Watch newsletter, you see it out here, it's in the web. Neighborhood Watch, bullying, Sergeant Casca has or will be participating with Linda and Roosevelt in a bullying presentation. The LISO program, Operation Santa Claus, Cops for Coats, the Humvee, Bike Patrol, Walk and Talk, the anonymous crime tips. We also, as you are, may not be aware, my background, Illinois State Police, very structured and disciplined. When I came here, our internal investigations was hardly zero. Last year we had 5. This year we had, I'll tell you in 1 second. 12. So it's not a matter of the fact that I proactively go after people for not doing a good job, but I place people accountable for what they do or what they don't do. And if they don't, then there's a progressive disciplinary process. And so I believe that we lead by example, and our officers are doing an excellent job of it. We had special investigations, a couple of those. Those special investigations are at the chief's office. I or my deputy chief investigate these cases. And then grievances, we had 2 grievances in 2012. And as the fire chief indicated, last year for the first time we had a nice awards presentation or awards luncheon at the park district, which includes the fire department and the police department. I think that's the first time that both agencies put something together for their personnel. The fire and police work very well together. I think Tom has done an excellent job there. And I commend the mayor for selecting Tom for that. And I think that's it. So I just have to say that I'm proud of the men and women of the police department. I'm proud to serve them, and I'm proud to serve you. That concludes my report, sir.
Thank you, Chief Tigard. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Brown Marino.
No.
Trustee Morris.
No.
Trustee McGreer.
Chief, I used to sit around wondering why we weren't doing more of what has been presented by you and your new administration, and I got to thank you for doing that and then some. I'm very proud of you and Chief Gardner's relationship and what you guys have collaborated on. I would love to see you continue to do more, and I'll be there as long as I'm in capacity to support you every step of the way. Thank you.
Trustee Harvey.
No.
Trustee Benson.
I have gotten 2 copies of the division, one for the police, and definitely responding to people's houses very quickly. That was the first thing they said, that they do all responding very well. And I get a lot of praise for the Neighborhood Watch Committee. So thank you for starting that. And thank you to the residents for keeping that going, because they are really loving it.
Thank you, sir.
Trustee Adrian.
I give a compliment for you, Chief, and the same thing as Trustee Benson said. Just to talk to the residents and how they're happy with your presence, responding to calls. And again, our presence being out there in this community, again, it's about public safety, the vehicles we've provided for them as a board to give them, and I mean, we just look better. So I'm just very proud of the department. I'm sure the residents, again, you gotta thank these guys every day. I mean, they're doing a great job here for us, so thank you, Chief, very much.
Don't forget the town hall meeting, it's gonna be really nice what the chief and I put together.
And I have nothing for you, Chief. I'll make comments at the end of the night. Madam Clerk?
Our next village officer, Matt Payne, give us back instruction for the work department.
Right, absolutely. See if I keep this brief. Mayor, Board of Trustees, residents.
Good evening.
Good evening. Obviously, winter is coming to a close, so the issue at hand for us is the delivery of the 302 tons of salt that we have sitting in North American salt storage. We've got to take delivery of that by the end of March. Our current facility will house about 400 tons. Presently, we have about 250 tons on site. So, when weather permits, we plan to get out and, if nothing else, try and modify the structure to accept the other 300 tons. But in the future, we're going to have to seriously take a look at how we're doing our salt storage. So, we did turn in our preliminary numbers to our finance director for our upcoming budget. And yeah, we need that to Let's talk. And I want to talk about the importance of recycling. The mayor and I talked about this a couple days ago. I had in my hand the disposal fee rates that we've been paying for West Cook County disposal. Group picks up our refuse and it takes it to McCook, which is West Cook County Solid Waste Division. Back in 2007, we were paying a yearly total of a little bit more than $84,000. We were averaging 187 tons of waste being removed from the village. Fast forward to 2012, and that number stays the same. We're paying pretty much the same. And you ask, how do we do that? Especially when we consider that back in 2007, the per ton disposal rate was $37.60. And it has risen approximately 24% to 2012, $45.86. So that means that we are actually disposing of about 25 tons of less garbage, hence the recycling. The importance of the contract renegotiation with Group cannot be overstated in my estimates. I think the residents should be encouraged to continue to recycle. Okay, I think we should also look at some type of recycling for the commercial side and some revenue sharing with disposal provided through in the future. That being said, this past week, Chief Gardner encouraged me to attend a debris management class that Cook County Homeland Security was offering. And the mission of the class was to facilitate and coordinate the collection and disposal of debris following the disaster within city or jurisdictions, to mitigate against any potential threat to the health, safety, and welfare of the impacted citizens and expedite recovery efforts in the impacted areas and address any threat of significant damage to improve public or private property. What I found out at the class is there was a collective body represented by a lot of municipalities, RGs, public works directors, village managers, and so forth and so on. One of the things that I was sharing with Tom was that I didn't know if we could do it on the phone. So if we have the type of situation we had in 2010, where we lost quite a few trees in our disposal for 2 months, August and July, was close to $50,000. We can actually burn some of the debris that we pull out of flood basements or trees that have been toppled or down. So that's good to know in the future. I'm not going to belabor the board. That being said, I will entertain any questions that you might have. Let me, before you do that, before I open it up for questions, let me digress to commercial tire, I believe is the invoicing question. Trustee Marino, a simple email or phone call will provide you with most answers that you're seeking. I believe the repair on the tire was for a plow truck that as we were out plowing one night suffered a flat tire. And I'm not certain whether or not the tire was repaired and replaced, or should I say a backup, a spare. I don't have the invoice in front of me. So given a heads up, in the future, we can most certainly, provide the records that we have as it relates to tires or snow removal. I do know that, let's dispel rumors. There is nobody on the list being serviced that is not a senior citizen. Nobody. I don't care if the name is Harrell, Johnson, Smith, or Taliera. If in fact you are a senior, unable to remove your snow and need assistance, that's what the program is for. I do know that we have had an increase interest in the program over the last couple of years, and it is a budgeted item that we need to be careful of, not obviously cap. So we've had seniors waiting on this list for the last year and a half. And obviously as the money becomes available, as we do more with less, kind of move some things around, we free up some of the monies to help our seniors as it relates to the snow removal. So that being said, and as far as me, I'm typically up about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, shoveling on and stuff. Just as a point of note. But Mayor, I will open up any questions to the board.
That completes your report?
It does.
Okay. Trustee Brown Moreno, questions, comments for Public Works?
Yes, the water main repair replacement project on Roosevelt, is Trine completed with it? Everything's done with Trine now?
With the water mains, not the streets. There's 2 phases to that. As a matter of fact, we mentioned the village engineers, the village planners, and some other individuals as it relates to the selection of fixtures, site plan layout. We met with PACE for the consideration of some shelters up and down Roosevelt Road, eliminating some of the stops that they have up and down Roosevelt Road, and some other things. So yes and no. It is a 2-phase project, and the first phase is completed where the new main was laid and the old main was abandoned. So we hope not to have any issues from 17th to 23rd in the next 70 days.
The reason I'm asking is because of the condition of the street. There's large chunks of concrete that have come up and what have you. Are we going to do anything about filling the holes at least?
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely. Most of you are aware that typically after the winter, streets typically look in very bad shape, and that is variables of salt, ice, thaw freeze, so forth and so on. So we do have the hot patch machine out on a daily basis, and we will, if nothing else, clean up the temporary patch of the concrete that was laid. And the reason we did this temporary patch on Roosevelt Road was to save money. We knew that we were going to come back this spring and increase the parking, reduce the sidewalk, and put in new light benches, bike racks, so forth and so on. So.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Moore?
Yeah, I think that Mr. Ames did a good job there. But I think that we need to get one thing straight. Like when you say like Mr. Bush and the people who helped Mr. Ames, I don't think that you should say his name like that. Because if you trying to tie him into something that's not right, then these people, he has his own private business. So these people might think that, hey, you know what, he's not even worthy of getting this bid. He lives here in the community. I'm talking about him or anybody else, him or the other guy that shovels the snow. And we already had the conversation about the seniors not having their name put out, not being harassed, trying to see if they senior. So I think that, like he just said, you know, just make that phone call, that email, and we can get some of this straight. Instead of just saying, even Miss Harrell, you know, you just say her name like, okay, you don't know who it was. And you said you didn't know who it was, but then when you say that name, it ties it to something else in other people's minds. It's just not you saying it. That's coming out the wrong way.
If Mr. Ames would
Okay.
respond to my emails, I would have been happy to do it that way.
Okay. That's it for me.
Thank you, Trustee Moore. Trustee McGriff.
Director Ames, thank you again for another year of good, hard work. I want to particularly address a couple of things. One of the first things that Mayor Jones tasked you and I with was the renegotiation of that group contract, along with the new garbage cans that we all have. I think it goes without saying the benefit that those garbage cans have given us: standardization, health and safety, etc. Recycling is so important. Over the last 5 years, the savings that we have been able to achieve, even with the increases of the rates, it just goes to show you that if we continue to recycle at a greater rate than the increase in the, per ton rate, we can have that much more savings to the village. And we will be going back to the table with Groot to see what kind of revenue sharing plan we can get to give us even more money in our pockets. We have a couple of things coming down the line that's going to save residents a lot more money, including the water line and drain insurance. We had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and that's just about finalized, so we'll be bringing that online pretty soon.
I think you should say that in your report. You got a question for Director Ames.
Director Ames, I don't have any other questions. These are comments. And I want to again just thank you for your hard work, especially with the vetting of the senior snow removal. We've spent hours on hours on making sure that that list is solid. And again, thank you for your hard work. That completes my questions and comments.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Vincent?
Okay, I got a quick one, sorry. It was a compliment that I got from a young lady, and I asked her if she had anything to say about the Public Works Department. And she said, look at the street. And so I looked and I said, what? She said, you can see it. And I said, okay, so that's a compliment to you. Absolutely.
Thank you, Trustee Vincent. Trustee Ames? I have nothing, Trustee.
And Mayor, I will have my annual report in December.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Madam Clerk?
Item number 6, communication. We have a request from Ms. Cordia to solicit donations. Pardon me?
Who's got the music recording? You got it, Chief? Did he go to safety already? You already signed off? Yeah. You gonna read it?
You want to read it?
Oh, no. It's just a request from Ms. Corey to solicit donations. I received a request on behalf of Nancy Turry, Public Relations Manager of Ms. Corey, to conduct their annual fundraiser and have employees of Hewitt Electric solicit donations April 26, 27, from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 17 Cermak. Ms. Corey has made similar requests in the past. This went to the Safety Committee. I got it back from Chief Tigera, basically with his approval on it, and that's all we have. So, is it on here for a motion, you all?
No.
There wasn't any motion. It's just a communication.
I make a motion that we approve the request.
Excuse me?
I said I make a motion that we approve the request.
That's what I'm saying. We can make a motion to approve the request. Go ahead, Trustee Pomerantz.
I make a motion that we approve the request from Ms. Recording.
And second by Trustee Hartford. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion carries to approve the request. Madam Clerk?
President Jones, someone make a motion to place the police department annual report on file. Someone make a motion to place the report on file.
Second.
Motion by trustee Hargreaves and second by trustee Abraham to place the annual police report on file. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries to place the annual police report on file.
Item number 7, unfinished business, we have none. Item number 8, consideration of an ordinance authorizing and approving renewal of the village group insurance coverage policy with Blue Cross Blue Shield for the village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
I make a motion to approve based on the recommendation of the committee.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee McGreer, probably second by trustee Morris to approve this agenda item. Questions or comments from the board? Trustee Brown Marino first.
No, just thank you to Ms. Baptiste for doing such a good job with this.
Trustee Morris.
No.
Trustee McGreer.
No questions, no comments.
Trustee Harvey.
No.
Trustee Benson.
No.
Trustee Abraham.
No.
Madam President, have a roll call, please.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hubbard?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
And the motion for the health insurance passes unanimously. Madam Clerk?
Item number 8B, consideration of an ordinance approving a grant agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and Northeast Metro Auto Theft Task Force for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by trustee Harvard and probably second by trustee Abraham to approve this grant request. Do either of you want to report on it for the board and for the public here? You want to tell them what it is, or Chief, you want to report on it? Sure. I know you did a report last week, but most of the folks weren't here. Just want to let everyone know what's going on with this grant.
We,
Be brief.
yes. We have received a grant from the Illinois State Police. Actually, it's the TMAT, which is a auto theft unit assigned to the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Code. They have funds, and they gave out this award to, I believe, 7 police departments, us being one of them. They're going to give us $81,491 per year, so $81,000 per year for an officer. However, the MOU does not say per year. We just have to indicate it on the MOU per year, and he's going to initial it. Also, they would, we have to pay the 10 hours of overtime for the officer. Anything over 10 hours, they will pay for it. They will pay the overtime. That's not included in the MOU. We include that, they'll also issue that. So, the finance director was at this meeting with us. She signed off on it. I thought it was an excellent idea to take the senior officer off of our payroll, put them into this auto theft unit, which is an individual that have statewide identification. And whenever we have any issues with auto theft or any other type of scamming issues, I have 7 to 8 officers usually assigned to Broadview at a moment's notice. Brought it to the board, and I believe it was approved last month. It was just now a matter of moving forward with the MOU, which is the memorandum of understanding. Did I do anything else?
No, excellent job. That's it, right. Just with the two, it's 2 corrections on it. It's just 2 corrections, okay.
If you get another motion to reflect.
Oh, right, just what I was going to do. You want to make a motion with the 2 corrections?
I'll just do it one.
It's 2.
What's the second one?
The first one was,
The first one was per year, and the second one is the, anything over 10 hours, email will cover the overtime.
overtime.
The overtime?
So,
I made the motion, but the second correction, I thought that was already included in it, that it was up to 10 hours. No more than 120 hours per year.
Yeah, 7 hours.
I make a motion to approve, amend my motion to approve with the following 2 corrections. agreement to include per year for the salary as well as overtime being paid after 10 hours by the organization.
Second.
All right, so moved. Now, do I have any other questions or comments from the members of the board, starting with Trustee Brown Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris?
None.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Trustee Benson? Trustee Abraham?
None.
Okay. Madam Clerk, maybe have a roll call, please.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Harvard?
Yes.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries unanimous.
Item number 8C, consideration of an ordinance approving the PACE locally based vehicle program agreed by and between the Village of Broadview and PACE for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly motioned by Trustee McGreer and properly seconded by Trustee Abraham to approve this particular agenda item. Who wants to get a report on it? Because I know this one's a new one. You want?
I can speak briefly on it.
Well, I know what it is. You want to talk about it, Mr. Attorney? Because just so that everyone knows, PACE offers municipalities buses at a very reasonable rate. This particular program will allow us to have a 12 to 16 passenger bus available for the Village of Broadview, by the Village of Broadview, that basically services seniors and disabled individuals. We'll transport them to the shopping centers, to the malls, to the hospitals, or whatever the case may be. The cost is $100 a month to the village, and we're responsible for the payment of the driver, we're responsible for the fuel and the maintenance of the vehicle. But they can give you the vehicle otherwise for $100 a month. Mr. Attorney, did I miss anything in the interpretation?
No, just that approval of this agreement will give us the opportunity to go ahead and meet the other requirements.
Right, and then the follow-up to that is the bulk requirements of the agreement. After approving the agreement, we have to determine exactly how we're going to administer the program with the bus. We're going to have to assign somebody to be a transportation administrator who's going to oversee it. We're going to have to provide the driver for the vehicle. We're going to have to talk to finance to put it into our budget, to make sure that this fits into the budget before we can actually enact it and actually sign the agreement.
The other requirement is that we have to send it to our insurance.
And we have to send it to the insurance agency. That's it. You've reviewed everything?
Yeah, it looks good. We still, this will trigger us being able to finish up and comply with the requirements of the agreement.
Okay. Questions or comments on this particular agenda item? I guess either myself or the attorney can answer them, starting with Trustee Brown Marino.
Well, actually, those were my questions about the rest of the details about a program like this. So if I understand correctly, because it says the term is as of the signing, once we've authorized this agreement to be signed, then we become responsible for the $100 a month fee. How long do you think it'll be before we have the rest of the details? And will those be presented to the board before we start with a program like this?
Yeah, the contract will allow us to send it to the insurance company and then submit the application for purposes of saying that it's going to be for seniors and disabled individuals that otherwise get around. And then absolutely, they'll come back around for final approval once it's confirmed.
Right, you would get a whole comprehensive program once it's all said and done, presented back to the board before we sign off on anything. This is to just get the ball rolling so that we can get started with the conversation, get it to the insurance company, and then once we do that, we'll come back and we'll kind of frame out, how we're going to do the program. We'll talk to the police and fire department and everyone else involved with public safety, and we'll decide who's going to be the administrator of the program, what number they will call to get a ride or whatever the case is, and if we have scheduled transportation to the shopping center or scheduled transportation to the grocery store, whatever it may be, we'll publish it and we'll provide that to all those people that would be eligible to partake of the program. So that's where I'm at with it. I just want to get it on the agenda and on the table so that we can actually get the process started, get the ball rolling.
It should be fairly quickly, other than the driver, to answer your question. Additional to the mayor.
Drivers got to go through a training program administered by PACE and be approved. Yeah.
And the $100 a month would start after the service kicks in too. So the way the permit's written, the village would have to be outsourcing $100 per month until such time as service.
So we're ready to go.
Right.
Got it.
Great, thank you.
Trustee Moore?
You know, I think it's a great idea. I mean, especially me being a bus driver. I think it's beautiful. I see seniors out here every day, and you know, I had to get myself acclimated to that too, because they get up on the bus, they moving slow, and you moving at 100 miles an hour. But these people, they really don't have nobody to help them, and they need this kind of service. That's an excellent idea.
Thank you, Trustee Moore. Trustee McGreer?
I think this program is wonderful for our village and our seniors. I've had this program at properties that I've managed before, and they love it. So it's going to be a great benefit to our seniors. That'll do it.
Trustee Hart?
I sent all my questions over the weekend via email, but I would like to say that I commend the service as well. Just on clarification, if it would be an actual bus or a van, like what the
Yeah, and there's a couple of different types of vehicles, and we'll have to show them to you. I don't have a packet in front of me. Do you have a packet with you?
I do.
Why don't you just make a copy of it and put it in all the boxes so you can see what our options are going to be, what so we don't delay the meeting any further than it already is. It's already 9 o'clock. Just make a copy and put it in the box. Trustee Benson?
I think the program is absolutely great, so let's get some more information and continue with it.
Okay. Trustee Abraham?
I think this is a well-needed program for our residents and our seniors, as obviously we're all getting older, so we're going to take care of this.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion carries unanimously.
Make sure.
Madam Clerk?
Item number 8D, consideration of an ordinance approving an animal impound service agreement by and between the Village of Broadview and Endeavory SL DBA Broadview Animal Hospital for the Village of Broadview, County of Cook, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motioned by Trustee McGreer and seconded by Trustee Abraham to approve this agenda item, to approve this impound services with the animal hospital. Who's got the report? Anybody? Chief? Which one of you? Who's got the report? You again?
So basically, it's an agreement with the Broadview Animal Hospital. We've been working with them and our attorneys for the last, I think, 3 or 4 months, and we found got all the technicalities out of the way. So basically, they're the ones that we call, and we will transport the animals over there. They charge us, and after a certain time, if no one picks it up, then we have to figure out a way to take this animal into some type of animal cruelty society or somewhere else. But right now, they will be the ones that will take care of the animal. If the animal needs a shot, we have to pay them, I believe, $200 a month.
Okay. Questions or comments from the members of the board? Trustee Brown?
But you're saying that if we have to have an animal euthanized, we would take them somewhere else?
Yes.
Because euthanasia is one of the, and cremation are among the services listed. So I was surprised to hear you say that.
Well, you are correct. There was no second.
Okay. That's all.
Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
No comment.
Trustee Harden?
So we're responsible for picking up the stray, transporting it to the animal hospital, letting them keep it. If they decide that, or if we find out that no one is picking up the animal from there, then we're responsible for finding a shelter home or something. Who's responsible for transporting it to the shelter?
Well, yeah.
We don't have a place to do it now, right? Let's just do it.
Right.
Have we specified which shelters or hospitals or what have you outside of Broadview that we would be in contact with? Or if Broadview, I don't know, hospital, the expert in that, and they know which hospital, which shelters in the area we should be using, like we wouldn't necessarily.
She's asking, do they have a specific location for the animals to go to?
They'll probably give us a recommendation.
That's it.
Trustee Benson? We'll get an answer. Trustee Benson?
I said no.
Trustee Abraham?
No.
No. Thank you, Chief. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that's right, I didn't see the number. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hartman?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries 5-1.
Item number 8E, consideration of an ordinance approving agreement by the Village of Broadview and Baker Tilly by Cross LLC for auditing services for the Village of Broadview, County of Pitt, State of Illinois.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee Morris and probably second by Trustee Abraham to approve this agenda item. Any questions or comments from the board? I think Ms. Davis covered it in her presentation, but if there's any further discussion, Trustee Brown Marino?
No.
Trustee Moore?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
No questions.
Trustee Harvard? Trustee Benson? And Trustee Abraham?
No.
Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Hartman? Trustee McGreer?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries unanimously as well.
Item number 8F, consideration to approve a business license application for Doreen Gordon.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
It's been properly motioned by Trustee Benson and properly seconded by Trustee Abraham to approve Ms. Gordon's business license application. Questions or comments from the board? Who's got the application? Ms. Benson, you want to report on this one?
Doreen Gordon is a tax specialist. She prepares taxes for individuals and businesses. Her business will be at 2416 South 14th Avenue. Her home, it's owned. She has given me the proper paperwork needed for our sole proprietor. And I believe she's here tonight.
Yes.
That's my report.
Any questions or comments on this particular business from the members of the board, starting with Trustee Brown Marino?
No.
Trustee Morris?
Nope.
Trustee McGreer?
Yes. What are the hours of operation for this business?
City Clerk, 21.
It's by appointment only.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gordon.
Trustee Harvey?
I would just like to actually thank Ms. Gordon for being honest about having a business that's operating outside of her home. Or within her home, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Trustee Benson?
Yeah, businesses that operate within their homes are supposed to do this process as well. So, thank you, she's correct. I have no questions.
Trustee Abraham?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, your business license will be approved and you'll have that in the building department first thing tomorrow.
Item number 8G, consideration to approve a business license application for Frank Ideal Welding, Inc.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion by Trustee Benson and second by Trustee Abraham. Trustee Benson?
Frank's Ideal Welding Incorporated will be located at 2200 South 25th Avenue, Suite P as in Paul. They are a welding, metal fabrication, or ornamental and structural iron fabrication business. They are coming from Merrill's Park. They have their inspections completed as of February 28th. They will be leasing the space there. They have provided me with most of the information that I need as far as their FEIN number and their sales tax number. And I do have their reports and inspections which show pass from our inspection. That includes my report.
Is anyone here from Frank's? Frank, how you doing? Good to see you guys. If I see Frank's is here, you got any questions or comments for the members of the board? Trustee Brown, you guys can stand. Trustee Brown Marino?
No, I don't.
Trustee Moore? Trustee Moore stepped
stepped
down.
down.
Trustee McGreer?
No questions or comments.
Trustee Harwood? Trustee Benson?
Curious, why did you want to come to Broadview?
Put you on the spot, huh?
It's close to our other people we do work with, and it's very close to highways. It's
Good location.
Good location.
All right. Sorry, some things.
Trustee Abraham? None. None? I have nothing for you guys. Thanks. Welcome to Broadview.
Thank you.
All right. All in favor? Aye. And even if Moore said no, it'd be approved, so.
Welcome to Broadview.
For now, it's unanimous. Make the note on the record that Trustee Morris wasn't available for the vote.
So noted.
Madam Clerk?
Item number 8H, consideration to approve a business license application for Integrity Distribution System, Inc.
I make a motion to table to the next board meeting.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned by Trustee Benson and second by Trustee Abraham to table this particular business license. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, this item will be tabled until the first business meeting in April.
Item number 8I, consideration to approve a business license application for Building Services of Chicago, LLC.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Probably motion by Trustee Benson, probably second by Trustee Abraham for building services. Trustee Benson?
Building Services of Chicago, LLC, will be located at 2000 25th Avenue. I wanted to know their suite number, but I did find out it's Q. They are coming from Westchester. Building Services of Chicago, LLC are electrical contractors only. They are leasing. They have their inspections completed as of February. The inspections look like they have passed. And they have also given me their FEIN number. State sales tax number is not needed. That completes my report.
Okay. Anyone else on the board, questions or comments? Trustee Brown Marino?
No.
Trustee McGreer?
None.
Trustee Harvey?
No.
Benson?
Are they here tonight?
Is anyone here? I
No.
don't see him. Trustee Abraham?
No questions.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing no opposition, that motion carries also.
Item number 9, application for the authority to expand funds. Grand total $7,094.19.
I don't have it.
You got it.
I don't have it. Oh, wait, okay. That should go ahead.
I need a motion.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably motion by Trustee Harvey, probably second by Trustee Abraham. This is the fire department, this is Chief Gardner.
This is the fire department. I haven't talked directly to the chief about it. I can give the information, but I would rather him explain it to the president.
Chief Gardner.
Or what this is, it's a visual screen that can be used for our incident command training and simulation. It's interactive, so we can use it for various fire simulations. It can also be used just for daily training, running videos on it. We can also use it in our emergency operations center, which is in the conference room of the fire department as well, for disasters and most things. So it's a computer-based, it has its own computer system that works with the screen to provide all the simulations. And this was budgeted. It's a budget.
Okay. Questions or comments for the chief? Start with Trustee Brown Marino.
None.
Trustee Moore.
No.
Trustee McGreer.
My only question was it budgeted, so great. Thank you.
Trustee Harvey. Trustee Benson.
No.
And Trustee Abraham.
None.
Okay, Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Trustee Abraham?
Yes.
Trustee Benson?
Yes.
Trustee Harvey?
Yes.
Trustee McGriff?
Yes.
Trustee Morris?
Yes.
Trustee Brown Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and that motion carries unanimously as well.
Item number 10, committee reports, building and public property. Trustee Abraham?
Yes, good evening, residents, and a few updates real quick. One was from the police department. A few months ago, I did a report on a non-running surplus vehicle for disposal that is moving forward and going to the auction house that will be handling all that. So we'll be receiving paperwork on that and what we will be retaining from the village, what the cost after the Blue Book value. From the Office of the Collector, Donna Barber. Again, reminder, the vehicle stickers are on sale. The rates did not change or increase. They're $25 for the residents, and for seniors, there's a $10 charge. From the building department, I know I've commented on a few apartment buildings that were boarded up. Just want to give you an update on their progress. The one that's located on 12th and Cermak Road is nearing completion. They have met with Commissioner Upshaw to become compliant, so they're making the necessary upgrades and renovations. The apartment building located that's been boarded up on Baton Drive, again, they're in negotiations with Commissioner Upshaw on what they need to do to get this building compliant as well. So they will be starting work on that, and that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Abraham.
Business Committee, Trustee Benson?
We've gone over all the new businesses, there's about 4 of them, just one was tabled, so I have no further to report regarding the businesses.
Thank you, Trustee Benson. Madam Clerk.
Fire, Police, and Civil Service. Trustee Harvard?
I don't have a report for the fire and police department, but I do have something that I would like to address with you directly, Mayor. There was a person outside handing out some information, and I received it as I was walking in the door. So considering the fact that we have so much going on with people validating residency, I'm going to leave something for you, and I would like you to review it and advise the board what we should do about the residency requirements.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Our next committee report, Street, Sidewalk, and Alley. Trustee McGriff?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees, residents. I will make a reminder again at the next board meeting for this, but it's election time. Political parties are putting yard signs down in your yards. I just want to remind those that are putting yard signs down to remove them after the election, dispose of them, store them, whatever you're going to do. But the day after the election, Broadview should be clean again and free of yard signs. That's it.
Thank you, Trustee McGriff.
Finance Committee, Trustee Morris?
Good evening, all. As we sit up in here and we talk about the money, you know, a lot of times I don't have a report because it's nothing really specific that I have to say because everybody is talking about the money at one time. But I'm thinking if you have something that you want to get an answer to, you can email me, and then I'll try to get that back to you as soon as possible because it does bog down the meeting with, you know, with all these different reports. I think we did a good job today, so I'm gonna be quiet. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Trustee Morris.
Water, Drainage, and Health. Trustee Brown Marino?
Well, first of all, with all due respect to Trustee McGreer, I had brought this up when Commissioner Upshaw raised the question about the duration for yard signs. And Commissioner Upshaw didn't mention duration again, but actually it is unconstitutional for us to limit the amount of time that anyone can have yard signs up. So, having said that, I received a notice that the Illinois EPA will be holding public hearings and looking for comments about a request from a forest park company to amend their federally enforceable state operating permit regarding air emissions. They do make a point of saying that their preliminary determination is that this amendment would still comply with EPA regulations, but I will ask the clerk to post this in the window out there if anyone is interested in this. Given that it's air emissions, that's why it would affect the village of Broadview, or potentially affect the village of Broadview. I do have a statement I would like to read into the record, and I will give a copy of this to the village clerk to include with minutes and the rest of the official record.
Just a point of order, just something to do with water rate now.
I'm sorry?
Does this have something to do with water drainage and health?
Not necessarily.
All right, well, I mean, we have to stick to the energy report.
That hasn't been the case for the rest of the board this evening.
As far as the committee report,
Yes, they have.
The only deviation from that was you had a couple of people talking about topics that came up in tonight's board meeting.
the committee report.
The committee reports were basically about the committee.
So you will not allow me to read a statement into the record?
It's a committee report.
Policy is committee reports reflect water drainage and health. That's something
If you've got a statement that you want to read to the public, it should have been made an agenda item. It should have been presented to everybody here so they could have seen it, because they need to be prepared to question or comment on it if in fact we want to allow it to be part of tonight's agenda. Because this is a Village of Broadview business meeting. It's not a political forum, and I'm going to be talking about that in my comments, because all the comments tonight had to do with politics and not about the business of the Village of Broadview.
Well,
And
that
that's
has
concerning
been,
me.
that has been the case for meetings
Well,
for several months.
well, you've been given direction from the village attorney.
That concludes her report.
Right, so I can respond any further?
There's nothing else to respond to.
So that concludes her report.
Would that be it? If all you have left is a statement to read, then I would imagine that would conclude the committee report.
Then that concludes my report.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Madam Clerk?
Yes, I just have an announcement to make. Really a congratulations to Bill Hampton, who lives in Maywood. He has been appointed by Governor Quinn to a commission, the Hate Crime Commission for the state of Illinois, and I just want to say congratulations to him. He has served his Proviso Township very well, and also I'd like to say congratulations to myself, because I did receive the Fred Hampton Image Award, and he had worked, and Bill, his brother, who worked very diligently in the community, not only in Maywood, Bellwood, Broadview, and other surrounding communities in Chicago. So congratulations to our neighbor, Bill Hampton. And that concludes my report, Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Couple of things. First off, tonight, a lot of the public comments surrounded the current elections and the current electoral process. Tonight's meeting is a Village of Broadview business meeting, and we're here to conduct the Village of Broadview business and not conduct hearsay and conversation as it relates to politics. It's not a political arena, and I don't want it to get to that. It's entirely separate from what we do in this board meeting here. This is actually to conduct the business of the Village of Broadview. As it relates to political notices being placed in mailboxes without proper posters being placed on them, you should just notify the post office and let them take it up with the proper channels. We don't govern that. That's not our job. That's not what we do. Let me keep going. Invoices that come through the Village of Broadview. When we got in, we started some processes, and I'd like to congratulate our finance personnel, and specifically Ms. Baptist and the budget officer, Tom Hood, for the fabulous job that they do and what they do. But in order for us to finish in the surplus to the tune of over $400,000 and finish in the surplus last year, after years of deficit spending by the village, some things had to be put in place, and with the finance department, they put some very stringent requirements in place. So to question the department head who is operating under budget, and I can go department by department. I'll start with Public Works, it's him standing back corner. For him to operate his department under budget, create actually a revenue stream out of his department, negotiate a contract with our waste management, waste hauling agency that actually saves us money. And when I say saving us money, the cost of the disposal went up, but the cost of the village did not, because of a recycling program and because of these totes. That being said, in the process, we have purchased 2 brand new vehicles in their department, and they're still under budget. How about that? You know, that's just that department. I could talk about the fire department. The fire department's got a new ambulance that we budgeted for, and he's operating within his budget. We've got a new fire engine coming. That's going to be operating within his budget. The police department has been restructured and remolded and remanned, and they got multiple new vehicles in their department. and they're working at budget or less. And as a result, collectively, we end up with a $400,000 surplus. So to ask a question about the expense of a tire in a village business meeting, that could have been addressed to one of the department heads and found out what the root cause of it is just a waste of everybody's time here for department heads that are doing their jobs. You know, and I'd like to commend all the department heads for what they do as it relates to the running of their department. Kudos to you guys. I'd just like to let you all know about the inner workings of your village government here. And I'll talk about the committee on the health insurance. When we came in, we had an upside down health insurance plan and program that was costing us, what was it, Pat, $30,000+ per individual here? We renegotiated it and cut the expenses, what, 40% or something like that?
We switched carriers.
Yes, we switched carriers. We did some very creative things, and the reason that we were in the position we were in was because the individuals did some poor negotiating, and they did not talk to other bodies. What we did was we created this committee. Everybody's got a stake in this. Everybody that gets paid by the village has a stake in this, and the taxpayers have a stake in it because it's your taxpayer dollars that fund this. So we had to come up with the best program. And I think that those individuals, one from the fire, one from the police, one from the village, one from management, and all of the, and the TCOs as well, so all of your, and the sergeants. So you've got 4 different unions represented, plus the management personnel, plus the village. They sit in the room and they dissect what goes on here. And as a result, they negotiate our contracts. And they've come out with some fantastic contracts for us lately to save us a lot of money. That's just part of the inner workings of your village and your village government working for you to save the tax dollars. You stole my thunder on the fire engine, so I won't talk anything about that. Comment came up in tonight's meeting about the snow removal for the seniors. And Mr. Bush is here. He's one of our contractors for the snow removal and contractors for landscaping for the village. And I'm proud to say that our contractors are local contractors. We keep the money at home. It's our own people doing the work and providing services for our own people. But you need to understand that it was budgeted. It's a budgeted item. We looked at it. I actually brought him in. I called him on the carpet about billing and some other things. Mr. Bush had to come to a couple of meetings right here in the chambers because I called him in because, you know, some things, things happen, and you want to get them straight before they get out of hand. So we had some discussions about billing practices, how we want to bill, and protecting the safety of the seniors. Right now today, the Village of Broadview services 116 senior households, and we finished with a $460,000 surplus anyway, and that's incredible. That's incredible. So I'll say that, and then add to that, just trying to get the village together and be a cohesive unit as it relates to all the taxing bodies. The police and the fire departments are back in schools. They're in there with the seniors. We've got a collaborative that works. We work with the Park District and the fire department, police department for operating center. So there's a lot of good things going on, and you guys need to know that. But I'm going to get off of my soapbox with that. Spring is coming up. It was already brought up. We got a couple of things going on. They say we have no vision. They say that this board has no planning. It has done nothing. Well, this spring, you're going to see what your village board has done over the last several years as we start getting the streetscape on Roosevelt Road done. As the cul-de-sacs over in the 80 acres area, the borders of Maywood start being put in. The water mains that were put in were temporarily covered with asphalt because we knew we were going to go back and do this. It's a cost-saving measure, so it just makes sense. We're going to tear it up anyway, so why do it? Those changes and all of these different things that we have done have improved our financial standing and improved our bond rating and put us in a better position going forward. The Roosevelt Road redevelopment plan and all of these partnerships and our neighborhood watch program, which is a collaborative all throughout the town, is working great. And you all need to know that, And the final thing I'm going to talk about is safety. Got 2 reports about coyotes. I don't know if any of you guys know about coyotes. I got one in the Beverly area about coyotes, and I got one in the Harvester area about coyotes. If you find or you have an issue with coyotes, contact the police and let them contact the proper services to come out and address your problem. Because we're not staffed. We don't have a dog catcher. the village of Broadview doesn't have a dog catcher. You know, with that, tonight was a very interesting meeting, and hopefully you won't be disturbed at your property that much by the politics going on over the next 3.5 weeks. You all have a good evening and be safe going home. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by McGrill, second by Moore. All in favor? Aye. All opposed. The meeting is adjourned.